All right. This video, we're going to talk about how we are able to travel in Q4 busy season while still having one of the best months in sales for Amazon business. So we're going to break it down in this video, how we were able to do that, how to fully prepare if you are wanting to do the same thing, travel for how long? 2.5 weeks, right?
Yep.
And we went to Philippines. Now we are in Japan recording this. We got Mount Fuji. It's nighttime, but it's beautiful view. We'll insert some clips out there for you guys to check it out, get you maybe inspired, motivated to do the same thing if you are wanting to travel and still run your business at the same time. So yeah, let's get started. And what are we now? November 20 something or almost December. So and I backtrack, I called Donald maybe like a month ago, and I already had it planned a little bit. Long story short, I called Donald and see if he wanted to go on this trip. With very short notice, 2.5 weeks. But this boy's always down, so I just want to know regarding his perspective, how he's able to kind of do it and still have time to prepare things on his end to make sure that while we are traveling, his business is still, running properly. So just want to know like your basic initial steps to kind of prepare there.
Yeah. So, as far as it goes for booking the actual travel, I was able to book pretty much everything using credit card points. So, I used American Express as well as Chase. With American Express, I actually booked the flight through their app because you can get 35% back in points if you have the platinum card.
Okay.
And doing that was able to get me that 35% back. So it was actually a better deal. And then I used my Chase sign up bonus from the Ink Unlimited card to book the hotels here in Japan. So I kind of used both and really didn't come out of pocket much of anything because I just used credit card points that were built up from purchasing inventory for the last year.
Yeah.
So I haven't really spent any of my points. So
And yeah, that's the beautiful perk about, the Amazon thing. Once you get the ball rolling is you start learning about the credit card game because, when you first start, you may be using, your debit card or personal credit card. But then if you do take the Amazon thing seriously, if you're a beginner, you're going to end up getting, separate business card or even multiple business cards.
yep.
And one thing that highly recommend is getting a 0% credit card, so that way we are leveraging the bank's money without any interest for the most common ones 12 months, and sometimes can go 15 months or even longer than that. So yeah, definitely the business card is just a cherry on top. A lot of people talk about like the cashback, right? Like Rakuten top cashback, but the business cards credit points, if you really take advantage of it and rack up a bunch of it just from your inventory spend or even daily spend, stuff like that, it can go for a long way. And you mentioned you use both combination of Amex and Chase.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
yeah, go ahead.
with the Amex, I booked my flight through there and then used the Chase to just book the hotels because Chase usually has pretty good rates for booking hotels. It'll at least be a 1-to-1 ratio, where if you're booking through American Express for whatever reason, they charge a little bit more if you book hotels, certain hotels through there.
Okay. So after the booking and stuff like that, what did you do, like, to prepare regarding your business? Like, I wanted to share mine because I kind of knew the trip like a couple months ahead. It wasn't as short notice as yours.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew that it's Q4. So granted, I knew at the back of my head I'm gonna need to buy more inventory than normal because Q4, if you didn't know, is the busy season, holidays and all that stuff. So I had to add a little bit more on top of what I was preparing to, just because I won't be doing as much buys from the travel. Like again, almost 2.5 weeks, and uh, pretty much enjoying this trip. And as little as work we've done here, we're still getting some crazy sales just because of Q4, right? But also we've done the preparation before ahead of time, like just buying inventories, getting it sent out was important. I know like the last, or I say 2 days before my trip, I was doing my last shipment. So I was really like putting extra work because I know like after that I can feel better about myself that okay, I've done the work. Now I can enjoy this vacation. I can relax, but still have my business, work properly, making sure I have enough inventory.
Yeah. So with me primarily doing retail arbitrage, it actually just happened to work out perfect where a lot of the sales cycles that I usually hit,
Hmm.
all just lined up perfectly. So I was doing back to back sales for about 2 weeks straight, where I was just filling up U-Haul after U-Haul. So I was able to get a lot of my spend in to the point where I really was fully maxed out of my
Yeah.
limits by the time that we got here. So it was a perfect time to
Yeah.
drop everything to the prep center, start letting sales come in, and then let the cash flow catch up over these last few weeks.
Yeah, and that was the thing we were both talking about that once we, come back from this trip, we're gonna have like a pretty good cash flow again. That because we haven't done any spending and stuff, so we're just letting things catch up a little bit. Then once we get back, hopefully nice and refreshed, getting excited to go back to the trenches and do some spending again, and just having a new. I guess like I think just having this trip is not really thinking about work as much helps as well because I feel like once I get back, I'll be more like, I don't know, like excited and not just like getting beat up like day in, day out doing the same thing.
No, that's important. You need time to decompress at certain points. You just need you can't constantly just be work work work. You need to give yourself some time at certain periods.
Yeah, which is easier to say because even on the weekends, I catch myself like, okay, like it's Saturday or Sunday, I'm going out or being with family, but I still find myself like, refreshing the Amazon sales more than I should, and maybe doing some sourcing online and stuff like that. But this trip, it's just like we had so much like stuff to do from like the second we wake up
Yeah.
and at night we just don't have time.
Didn't even
Like
have time
even though I
to
wanted to, it just
yeah.
like so it was kind of nice, like forceful, like break that we did not get a chance to really work on. Aside from maybe we get home at night and just check in
Hmm.
sales, like oh, like look, like Black Friday was like X amount of sales
Yep.
and stuff like that, and constantly just checking it on the Amazon app as well during like at the airport or while we're in the train and stuff. But
Hmm.
aside from that, like we haven't repriced
No.
as well, which
No. And sales are
yeah,
still going. It's
yeah,
it's actually kind of interesting to see because all my stuff gets listed $20 above buy box from
yeah.
my prep center, and I'm still making quite a large amount of sales from just that without even repricing. So it's kind of interesting to see, and may make me look at things from a new perspective when I am repricing, especially if you're just always chasing buy box, you might be leaving
Money,
a
a lot of
lot
money on the
a lot
table.
on the
Yeah, a lot
table
of
that
money.
you don't even
Yeah,
you're
I
just
mean, if
not
you're talking
realizing.
about pricing your items $20 above the buy box, I mean, X amount of products you're selling there.
Yep.
I mean, 5 items is $100 multiplied, but I mean, it's
Hmm.
just like it's
Especially during
crazy.
this time of year,
Yeah,
it's gonna happen, like, regardless. You don't need to be pricing at buy box at this time. You can
you don't
hold your
need to give things
prices.
away.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, which is important. Like if you're a beginner, like I know I was there, like I was anxious to have my stuff like check in and get some sales like immediately, but sometimes it's nice to have that patience, and it's okay that one day you might not have as much sales, but maybe in a couple days or something like that, but at least you're getting a good price for it, especially if it's an item that you kind of, I don't know, it took you like more effort than normal, especially if you're doing RA, like you're going out, driving through traffic, going through the stores and stuff. There's a little bit of labor in there, but at the end
Hmm.
of the day, it requires a lot of work versus maybe just doing OA. But still, like you just giving that price immediately just because you want to see some sales is, I don't know, you're kind of
And
not helping yourself.
you don't realize it, but other people may be following suit. So, like, Obviously, a lot of repricers are trained to chase buy box, which eventually is just undercutting each other penny by penny. Whereas if you can just hold your price, other repricers will try to hold their price too, instead of just trying to chase that buy box all the time.
Yeah. No, that's very good point as well because these repricers are what you put in is what you get out. So if you're putting in like, an aggressive repricer, it's just gonna follow a lot of the times, in
Mhm.
terms of the buy box. So that definitely plays a key role. But just having that knowledge that Q4 is really gonna get a lot of sales, take advantage of it, especially if you're a beginner. Like this is the time to do it because right now, even if you make a really bad buy, it might even, you might even get saved or just because of the sales going on, it's crazy. But it comes into like January, February, you might still get it, but um, we were talking about earlier, it's kind of like a mini Q4 that Q1, we talk about January, maybe some people are still doing some holiday buys, but March is where you're gonna get some of these
The reality
returns.
will hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a beginner, don't just like buy for the hell of it and kind of having that force, just comparing yourself to others, what's out there. But it's also important to kind of learn the skills ins and out, like, keep a chart reading, or if you're in retail arbitrage, retail arbitrage, what are some of the things that you'll be recommending or looking for beginners?
When sourcing product
Yeah,
or
sourcing products, like, making sure it's a good buy. Because one thing just popped in my head, if in terms of online arbitrage, you have all the tools in front of your computer, like what is the worst case scenario? Are you breaking even or you be losing a lot of money? That's like for online arbitrage model.
that's kind of one of the interesting things with retail is that you can sometimes get deals dependent on your location that other people just aren't going to get with retail arbitrage. So, say boots, hiking boots may not sell well in one area of the country,
Hmm.
but
Florida.
there you
Yeah.
go. So they'll clearance them out there and they could be really good selling items, but someone in Wisconsin will buy these all day long. So you can kind of find opportunities based on your area through retail arbitrage where you can actually make some really good buys, like really low ranking, fast selling items at a good price. Um, and that's just kind of what's interesting. But I'll even source higher ranked items sometimes. Once you have that cash flow built up, I feel like it's okay, dependent on what your criteria is and what you're looking at. I don't mind buying some items that are higher ranked if the margin is there.
Yeah, it's all about basically how low you can get it and how much what the buy box is. Because, like we've sourced RA before, and one specific item was really low, and um, it was gonna sell somewhere with like more than 100% ROI,
Hmm.
but the ranking was high up there, and it sold faster than what for me like I thought it would be.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
be surprised. But vice versa, if you're sourcing certain shoes from, say, like a Nike outlet, you need to be prepared that a lot of other people might be jumping on some of these things. So, say like um, the new Nike Revolution, for example, because those always sell really well. The new one that comes out, it might look good right now, but and you still will make sales and probably make money, but just be ready for a lot of people to jump on certain deals that Nike outlets will have because like a lot of people are getting them.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about, well, oh wait, too, the same thing, because when you're looking at a certain website, if there's a specific sale, a lot of people are gonna source that website, especially if it's a popular one, right?
Mhm.
In terms of like the sales going on right now in Q4, there's so many things going on, like the Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so on and so forth. It's just a crazy madness time that,
It doesn't matter.
yeah,
Just go ahead and buy it anyway. You'll
ex-
be okay.
yeah, and also it's one of those things that some websites are doing like crazy sales that you might not even get until like the next year at the same time. So it's not a bad idea to kind of stock up on these things. Again, this is like if you have extra cash flow or kind of know what you're doing a little bit. But I think those were the things that I didn't think earlier, like regarding preparations of Q4. It's like we bought some stuff that's really good price because we were able to get it such a good discount, just taking advantage of what the deals available right now and stuff like that.
Which is why I'd recommend to look back at older stuff that you've been selling all year. You might be able to find it really cheap right now,
Yeah.
cheaper than you've usually found it. So, an item that may have not been good, you were purchasing and maybe dried out, you might want to look back into some of those items because you may be able to find them at really good prices.
So aside from buying more inventory normal than Q4, using the credit cards to do our traveling points and stuff like that, did you do anything else different in terms of, preparing if you wanted to go travel, and still have your business run properly? Because one thing I wanted to add as well is, I have a virtual assistant which we did meet
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Philippines, so that was cool. We had dinner and stuff. Was she helped me a lot in terms of finding leads because I wasn't sourcing as much. Even now, like she finds leads and stuff. Like it's unfortunate that I can't be buying every single one or a lot of them right now because I just haven't had the time. Again, that's my thing that I need to improve on in terms of sourcing because I should have someone purchasing it, right? Because there's deals right now on my computer that my VA is finding that is just sitting there,
Yep.
So that's a system that I've learned from this trip. It's like, okay, even though I've gone on this trip, there's still things that I can improve on, and that's fine. Like it's good to know those like holes within your business, or whether that's looking for a VA for you or
Yep.
being more organized and stuff like that. This is kind of like a nice step for a reflection as well, not just going forward, but it's good to kind of just step back a little bit and see how we can approach our business and how to be smarter with it, more efficient, and stuff like that. Like here we are in Japan, like it's just crazy how efficient, how much things they think like
Yep.
like
The toilet.
yeah, the toilet. The second we're in this hotel right now. When you open the sliding door in the bathroom, the toilet knows. I don't know. There's a sensor or something. The seat literally just goes up, and it's
It's
crazy.
ready for you.
Yeah. So, what have you learned in terms of like improving your business, and what you could have done better in terms of maybe before taking this trip and stuff?
Yeah, even a little bit before this trip, I know that I need some systems in place that I have yet to do because
Hmm.
I'm still figuring it out, especially when scaling retail arbitrage. So, like you mentioned, a big one for me right now would actually be getting a VA to help kind of clean up things on the back end. Not so much for sourcing right now, but just really getting some processes in place that'll make my life a lot easier. Things that I I can outsource and teach pretty easily to other people.
Hmm.
I shouldn't be doing those things in the business right now. So
Yeah, because I'm sure it's the back of your mind that the back end stuff that you had showed me or things you need to do. I'm sure that's still things you need to get
things
done,
that still
right?
need to get done and that could be done and
Yeah,
they're done quite easily. It's just monotonous, very monotonous
yeah, it's a
things.
time sucker for sure,
Yeah.
and a VA can do that.
Yeah,
Like
there's no reason for me to be doing it
yeah,
at this point.
yeah,
But it's talking about it more and then kind of just seeing how we're both operating, especially overseas,
yeah,
we're not at home,
yeah.
really does help put things into like a new perspective.
Yeah, and what's really cool about it as well is like don't let little things like these stop you. If you really wanted to go somewhere and, enjoy whether that's family vacation or just time off or whatever, it's your own time. Like we decided to go travel here and stuff like that. Don't feel bad about it. Like, yeah, you work hard for it and stuff like that, but also recognize that there's still more that you can do and stuff like that. And I think I don't know, it just kind of refuels me to go back knowing that having this time off is nice, able to kind of enjoy the fruits of our labor a little bit, but we still know there's still a lot of things that we can improve and stuff like that, not just like laying down and be
No,
satisfied with
this
it.
this was horrifying actually. being away for 3 weeks. I thought, because especially doing retail arbitrage, I
Yeah,
thought it might be, just FOMO, like
yeah,
a crazy amount of
yeah,
FOMO. But then you kind of realize you just get back into the groove of things. And also it just made me grind twice as hard beforehand. You asked, what did I do beforehand? I just put in the
we
fucking
did. Yeah,
I just put in the work. I was working some days literally just from the time I got up to 20-hour days, just
yeah,
just making sure to get shit done beforehand.
because you were traveling from different cities, just hitting up stores because of the deals and stuff like that, and filling up this like U-Haul vans and racking up miles in these trucks and stuff like that. And even have an interesting story where you hit the post of the truck.
Oh God, yeah.
But again, it's part of the the retail arbitrage stories that you know.
Save that for another time.
Yeah. But there's definitely a good point in terms of that. It's like also another thing is there's always deals everywhere. You guys don't feel bad if feel like you're missing out on stuff. There's always deals, and that's the thing about Amazon is you have to learn to adapt because what worked last year, I've experienced it firsthand, is completely different to what may work next year, and stuff. And I think the biggest thing, like, to continue moving forward and stuff, is being able to learn how to adapt no matter what.
Keep an open mind. I mean, I think I can speak for the both of us. If you look back at how we were operating not even a full year ago,
Yeah.
it's quite different from what we're doing now. And I'm sure in another year it's going to be the same exact thing. But
No.
you
Yeah.
just do what works, and, keep your mind open and just keep working at it.
And if you're stuck on one brand, knowing this will help as well. There are a lot of brands out there as well. So adapt and continue on finding different brands all the time. Just continue pushing that boundary. If you're retail arbitrage, scan.
Don't be afraid to try out new things.
Just continue in scanning and stuff like that. Anything else you want to add in terms of someone that willing to travel and still have their Amazon business?
Take advantage of credit card points. Rack up those credit card points. Get the sign up bonuses for cards. Definitely don't miss out on those. The credit card points can really fund traveling for a long time. I have enough Amex points to do a couple more of these trips, and that's all from just buying inventory, from putting in the repetition. And yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Credit cards can be a life changer, and we decided to use it in travel, but you can use it on different things as well, not just travel. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned a lot in terms of how to travel. I think it's a good time to wrap this up. Just a quick little guide of how we're able to prepare and still travel at the same time in the busy Q4 here. And we'll see you guys in the next one.